Hey, Fanboy Nation.
This is your pal Daffy Duck, and you're watching.
We're watching
Fanboy.
Fanboy,
fanboy, etc.
Fanboy Nation.
Dot, I assume Tom.
Lewis Santer, it is a pleasure to talk to you about the sequel to the Winnie-the-Pooh horror film, Winnie-the-Pooh Blood and Honey 2. You are Tigger in this iteration.
Yeah, I love it.
It's interesting to see once something goes public domain, what you are able to do with it. And I thoroughly enjoyed the first one, concept-wise and execution. Although Tigger was not in the first one, here you are in the second one. And you're like, all right, let's get even with this brat kid that grew up named Christopher Robin.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And it really is just lots more chaos and destruction. So yeah, it's crazy.
Is it interesting to have read the original Winnie the Pooh books, then see the Disney iterations, which sanitize them a bit more, and then now, you know what? Let's do a horror version where Pooh, Piglet, Owl, and Tigger are neglected, and it's time to sit there and do things that we should have done when this guy was 10 years old.
Yeah. I think it's crazy. I mean, to me, like I love Tigger as a kid. Like he was my favorite character growing up, and I had like toys of Tigger and stuff like that. When I first got the role, I was reminded of that by my family, and I kind of forgot. But I had all these, so I was like a massive fan of the cartoon as a kid and the books and everything. So when I did get this role, I feel like I personally love it, and I know some people have different opinions about it. But I think your childhood is quite fragile if it's kind of, destroyed by this film. I think it's nice that you can, I wouldn't watch Winnie-the-Pooh anymore now because that'd be weird. But I can now enjoy Winnie-the-Pooh in a different light because I'm a massive horror fan. So it's great that you can watch these characters still, but obviously doing very different things. So I think it's amazing what these guys are doing. I really think it is.
Yeah. The fun part with this franchise and other stuff that Reese and Scott have worked on is that they've taken the childhood fairy tales, whether they were Grimm or the Grimms or anybody else's, that were always cautionary tales. They were never to be lullabies or bedtime stories.
Yeah.
And Humpty Dumpty, Hansel and Gretel, all of those, Pied Piper. And now here we are. Or Winnie the Pooh, which came from a child's imagination, and A. Milan's father was not the kindest to him, but that was the culture at the time. It's interesting to see that spin.
Yeah, and obviously Winnie the Pooh, I don't know if it's true or not, but there's a rumor that the cartoon's based on different mental illnesses, isn't it? I know, what is it? Is it Piglet? Piglet represents anxiety, and Tigger's ADHD and stuff like that. So it's kind of
Eeyore's depression.
Yeah. So it's almost not completely just a positive kids cartoon. It actually is there for to say something as well. So yeah, people think, oh, it's just this all good cartoon, but no, there's actually some dark sort of underpinnings there in the cartoon itself. Obviously, this is just that on a much bigger scale.
Absolutely. And then Pooh being gluttonous, and then Owl being egotistical. It's just so interesting to see this take on it. When you get presented with a role that, hey, not only did you get to be Tigger, and it's a horror film version of it, how exciting is that? Because now you get to tell the adult version of this. And with the success of the first one, are there higher hopes and expectations for the second one?
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like the second one, if you like the first one, you absolutely adore the second one. It is just like the first one in steroids. I keep saying it really is. And it's like the first one's obviously got that great style of like people dying one by one and obviously getting picked off, where this one is just complete chaos and destruction from the start to the finish. It's complete bloodbath the whole way throughout. And for me, this character really is a dream role. Like I honestly can say that it is a dream role because I loved Tigger as a kid. And then the inspiration for this character is like Freddy Krueger, Pennywise, Art the Clown, all these sort of characters, which I adore. Like they're like my heroes in the horror world. And obviously I've always wanted to do prosthetic work as well. And obviously put that in mix that together as well. And you've made my dream role. And obviously it's an absolute pleasure to portray him. And hopefully I've done it justice for the fans.
Well, let's take it one step further from the environmentalist aspect. It's nature retaking the rightful place in what was taken from them to become the cities and towns.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So any sort of film you can think of, even this one, I know people just think this film is just like some crazy bloodbath, but it's not. Yeah, it really is the story of revenge and betrayal and showing like what humans do best, which is just like sort of leaving people and like not caring about their path of destruction they leave behind them, and you know how it can sort of creep up on you, and how yeah, nature wins in the end.
The interesting thing with this franchise is that it's a horror comedy. It's not straight slasher. It's not torture porn. You know, yes, it's gory, but there's humor to it. And that's very difficult to pull off. When you got to see the final product and realizing how much humor there was in the second one, similar to the first one, was that a bit of a sigh of relief, or did it add to the enjoyment for you in the process?
I think to be honest, I think the first one sort of delves into that sort of, you know, slightly comedic maybe. But obviously my knowledge isn't great on the first one. But this one's quite dark to be fair. There's not a lot of comedic sort of elements to it. There's a couple sort of one-liners that I have that are sort of more sort of comedic, but very like sort of Freddy Krueger-esque. Sort of Johnny makes these little jokes and stuff, obviously like sort of these sadistic jokes, that kind of thing. But this one's definitely more darker, I'd say, just from like obviously even just from like reading the script, I knew straight away it's gonna be a darker film. And I think it's nice. I think it's a better vibe. I think sometimes it's nice to have. I think horror comedy is great, but like those horror films you get, which is complete just chaos the whole way throughout, and it's really just gets darker and darker and darker. I think they're nice. I really like that style of horror film, and that's what this one is. I'd say it's like maybe certain moments of comedy, but not so much.
Was it also exciting to find out that there was going to be a 3 or 4 day theatrical release for this? It wasn't just straight to VOD.
Yeah, oh god, yeah. That was literally my first thought. I mean, when I got the character, and obviously I think I got like all the information sent by email, and it said about how obviously it's gonna get a theatrical release and stuff like that, and a premiere and all this kind of thing. And I literally just came out of drama school. It was a month out of drama school. So to me, I was like, oh my god, this is I remember just going crazy. Of just even just that part of it. But then it was like you sort of, you know, celebrate about all those things, and it's like, right, but now I need to get to work because now I need to make the thing. I need to, you know, prep. So you kind of have like a good 10 minutes of excitement, then it's like, right, now it's time to do some research.
And then Piglet's anxiety sets in, and now you got to get to work.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Now I'm Tigger because I'm just full of excitement and the ADHD setting.
Yeah. The exciting part is we're happy to see that a sequel was made because the first one was so enjoyable. And even though there are comedic tones, it is a darker film. Is that also exciting being a horror fan to see a childhood story turned into a horror film that now you get to sit there and, like you said, enjoy it on a different scale? Because if you go back and watch the original cartoons, yes, you're not of that demographic anymore, but it gives you a different insight into what was going on.
Yeah, completely. Like I said earlier, it'd be weird if I still watch Winnie-the-Pooh now and I'm still a massive fan because obviously being an adult. But like, you know, and it's nice that obviously I grew up on Winnie-the-Pooh and so many other people did. So it's nice that like, and me being a horror fan as well, I can now enjoy in a completely different sense and different light. So yeah, and I think it is refreshing. I really do think it is, and I don't think it ruins anyone's childhood. I think it's just nice to sort of, you can sort of, you know, detach them from each other. You sort of think that's that Winnie the Pooh and that's that Winnie the Pooh. You don't need to sort of pair them, you know. I think that's why it's refreshing.
Lewis, it's been fantastic chatting with you. Remind us of the release date and where we can find you on social media if we want to connect with you.
So the release date is 26th, 27th, 28th of March, and you can buy your tickets now on Fathom Events. And my social media is lewissanter.actor on Instagram. So I use X as well. It's Lewis Santer X on X, and obviously you can find me on IMDb. But I mainly post on Instagram, and that is lewissanter.actor.
Lewis, it's been a great pleasure. Congratulations on the film. Hopefully we see you in the third installment.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, Tigger will be back for future films. I can say that. So.
Beautiful.
Very exciting. Yeah. Thank you.